A video game obsessed teen who shot his pal before claiming he would probably kill again has today been unmasked as he was caged for 24 years. Baby-faced Jacob waited for his victim, who was 15, as he walked to school before calmly blasting him in his face with a shotgun from less than 5 foot away.
Just after 8:40 AM today, Suffolk Constabulary's control room received reports of a shot fired in Friends Walk, Kesgrave. The victim, who's a 15-year-old boy, sustained very serious injuries and was airlifted to Addenbrooke's Hospital. Shortly before 11 AM, a teenager was arrested in Ipswich on suspicion of attempted murder in connection with this incident. He's currently in police custody at Martlesham. We've made an arrest as part of this investigation, and we're currently working with all our partners and with the schools to ensure that everyone feels safe when they're collecting their children from school this afternoon.
The victim in this case was left with devastating and life-changing injuries and is partially paralysed from the horror on September the 7th last year. As his mum repeatedly screamed, "What have you done?" at a gun fanatic, he showed her a double-barreled shotgun with a smug and righteous look on his face. After he was finally arrested 2 hours later, he chillingly told officers, "I've done what I wanted to do, as scummy as it is." The teen, who can now legally be named today, was jailed for 24 years with a further 5 years on license after being convicted of attempted murder. It seems he's had this weird obsession with guns from a young age, and also being into gaming as well may have fueled it even more. His mum used to take photos of him with the weapons and put them up on social media saying, "Don't mess with our son," while a pal would comment on the post saying, "Cool." While on trial for this case, the court heard that he was addicted to hyper-realistic computer games featuring torture and had been watching them online from the age of 9 also. It said that he was playing a game, Blood Trail, just hours before he took his victim's life with his granddad's double-barreled shotgun. It's a very graphic game. It's like a virtual reality mode where you take people's lives. I'll play some footage of the game now so you guys get the gist of how gory it is. The parents are also being blamed for his attack as well, because of how they used to brag about him having guns and how many he knew of and could name. He had his own BB gun and was shooting cans at his grandparents' house from just a young age. The parent would regularly say how much her son loved gaming and shooting and praising his aim, but still saying he knew right from wrong. A close friend said the teenager adored playing the virtual reality game that we just showed because it was hyper realistic in its violence. It seemed he was trying to reenact these video games, and he had come quote unquote within a hair of killing his victim, who was left in a pool of blood outside of his home as his mother battled to save him near Ipswich. The judge had blasted the manner in which he planned and committed these offences. He said, "It shows you are a dangerous offender. You had an obsession with types of lethal firearms and were watching video games with violent content online." The judge also said it was a premeditated shooting and it was an intention to kill. It was not unthinking or impulsive behaviour. The judge said he regarded the teen as a dangerous offender who is capable of violence in the future, as he sentenced him for the shooting of his childhood pal. The court had said that he was taught to shoot guns by his granddad and had bragged to his pals he planned to shoot a friend who spent less time with him as he concentrated on his exams. He messaged his target arranging to walk with him to school, then hid in a bush for over an hour outside the victim's house before stepping out and greeting him by saying "Hola amigo" on September the 7th last year. The puzzled victim asked what he was doing with his father's car and a gun before the teenager pointed it directly at his face and pulled the trigger from less than 5 foot away. The cool and calm shooter then stood over the injured lad with a smug and almost righteous look as the victim's mother rushed to stem the flow of blood with towels. Jacob the killer drove away in his dad's BMW, which he had stole as if he couldn't care less about what happened. Police rounded on him 2 hours later and had to smash the window to get the smiling teenager out. In an interview describing the arrest, he said it was exciting as the armed cops bundled him into a police car. He was complimenting the police for showing restraint and not shooting him, saying their actions made him proud to be British. He later told the officers, "I have done what I wanted to do. Scummy as it sounds, I will 100% cooperate with you." One recovered Snapchat message which he sent to his victim 6 months ago before the shooting featured a video of him waving a BB gun saying, "I will shoot you, I will, I promise." He was said to have sent another friend gory videos off the internet, including one of an ISIS beheading, even after his friend had told him not to do it. A gun expert found that the muzzle of the gun was between 0.5 and 1.75 from the victim's face, with a single shot was fired at very close range. It emerged he had hatched the gruesome plot around a year ago before the actual shooting, and also a previous court hearing heard that he bragged in some sort of interview that he'd probably kill again on his release and he wanted to be famous for chemical warfare. But Jacob, the 16-year-old who can finally be named, denied attempted murder but was convicted by a jury after the horror attack on the first day back at school after the national lockdown. He was sentenced to 24 years for attempted murder and 12 years to run concurrently for a second charge of possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life. The teen shooter had also pleaded guilty to possession of a firearm with intent to cause fear of violence. The judge has ordered the boy to spend an extra 5 years on license following his release after ruling that he posed a significant danger to the public. It said that he could only be released after serving a minimum of 2/3 of his sentence if the parole board thought it was safe to release him. The shooter will be monitored and subject to recall to prison until the age of 45 years old. What is you guys' thoughts on this case? There's a lot of kids out there that are addicted to these sort of video games that don't actually carry it out in real life. Maybe his parents actually showing him the weapons and making it available for him to do it was posing some sort of risk, but they wasn't to know what was going to happen and how far this young boy would take it. But I do think it's important to monitor our kids, especially when they're 9 years old, on these video games. That's how early this youngster started, and he carried out an attack which could have taken that young boy's life. A very, very crazy story. And also, what's your thoughts on the sentencing? One day this guy could get out, even though he's made these comments that he will try and attempt to take someone's life again. Even though now he's at a young age, he could possibly mature inside 20-30 years from now. But what's you guys' thoughts on that? Comment below. Of course, make sure you guys all subscribe to the channel with that notification bell included, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace out.